It's sad when getting an autoimmune disease takes you standing up for yourself and creating boundaries for yourself, something that you should have had all along. It takes your health declining, when it takes you becoming bedridden. Obviously, when you are living in a dysfunctional household, when you are around narcissistic parents, when you are around dysfunction and around siblings and parents that have malicious intent towards you to hurt you, to cause you pain and suffering, that don't think how this could affect you, that treat you like you don't have feelings at all. Obviously can't run away when you or fight back when you are a kid, when you are a teenager. Naively, I thought that the more you grow, the more things can change and you mature and you can change behaviors. I thought when I became an adult that the abuse would stop because I'm now 18. And it's not the case. And I was trusting, and as an adult, like, moved myself back into their home, trusting and thinking that they love me. And I was really deceived because all that did was just put my nervous system back in fight or flight for the years that I was staying with them. That's why I've made the choice to cut them off, so I can stop longing for this so-called family, so I can stop yearning for this love and gentleness that I'll never get. I've never received empathy. I've never received sympathy. I've never received love. That's not my fault. There's just people out there that are wicked. There's narcissists out there. And, I had them in my family. So I had firsthand experienced these type of people that are really mentally ill and they're sick. And I am on the path to healthy, which means that I won't have people in my life that are toxic to me. I won't have people in my life that can yell at me or abuse me or gaslight me or bully me or belittle me. Like, people don't have to change a thing, but I don't have to have a relationship. I don't have to be around when it's toxic to me and harmful to me and my well-being. If something's not making you happy, if it doesn't feel good to your body to be around that person, even if they're your family, even if you're blood related, then you protect yourself. And I was never taught protect, like, no one's ever protected me. So I've always had to protect me. And I would get in relationships with men where I was very codependent. I was in relationships with men that were abusive since I was like 15. It was a very young age. And I've had very stressful relationships, and I've had a very unique life experience so far. A very, very unique experience. Not a lot of people experience, family abuse. And not a lot of people experience really harmful, abusive relationships, verbally, physically, emotionally, psychologically. It's really painful. It took getting an autoimmune disease to change my ways, to heal, to grow, to find God, to study the nervous system and the brain, because once you've gone through what I have, your amygdala is like bigger than the normal person's brain, and then your limbic system gets hijacked, and it's not running correctly, and it's not going to send the right signals to your body, and like the autonomic nervous system is completely off. And I had to deal with a lot of things like grief, losing people that I loved that has hurt me and not there for me. I've had to grieve people I really loved that, like, I would do anything for, the shirt off my back for. It was like never the same for me. So autoimmune disease, it happens from stress, panic, sadness for a prolonged period of time. And it's really sad. It's really unfortunate. Like, there's just so much damage that has been done that I'm now spending. I spent my late 20s, early 30s trying to reverse so I can live a happy life full of health and vibrancy and having social connections for the first time that feel really healthy, and living a healthy lifestyle and cutting off toxic people. And it's a very hard journey, but I've learned so much, and I have a lot of self-compassion for myself and a lot of love for myself for everything that I've endured, everything I fought really hard for. It's not easy to grow up in a home where you're fearful and you're uncomfortable and there's a lot of anxiety and not a lot of love and care and understanding. It's not a supportive environment. And what I realized, like getting close with God and my personal relationship with God, is when life is tough and circumstances happen beyond our control, when pain happens, when people disappoint us, God teaches you who these people are. He teaches you the way of life. He shows you in the Bible who the wicked is and who to stay away from. And just with me getting like spiritual guidance on wicked people and relationships, because our relationships are like the most important thing we have in this whole world is our relationships. They really affect us. Bad company corrupts good morals. Relationships is where we see God's love shine in our lives. And if our relationships weren't modeled God's love, if they were modeled brokenness, then we're not going to understand what a healthy relationship even looks like. And we're just going to set ourselves up for failure. I love therapy. I love psychology. I love the Bible. I love truth. I love to understand. And I love this new version of Amanda that has boundaries today. And there are times where sometimes I'll slip up and like think somebody is a really great person and they're for me, and come to find out they're a narcissist. And it's like, dang, like, why couldn't I have spot this earlier? Like, I'm just so trusting. And I know like that's just part of my good nature, seeing like the good in people, you know, but I spot it really fast, and I would never like let myself fall back into funk or in relationships where I don't feel good. As devastating as this chronic illness was, and how I got sick so young, and my whole life flipped upside down, it changed something in my heart. Like there's like this fire in my belly to want to help people in pain, because there's not a lot of resources out there for people to have tools. When you have this wisdom, when you've studied, you can help people get their pain out of them, so that way it doesn't have to lead to these chronic health issues. It takes discipline, and you have to want it. You have to have the courage to want it, to want change, to want to be done. You have to be done with the toxicity in your life, the toxic thoughts, the toxic relationships. You have to decide, okay, I'm going to change. I'm going to not be a victim, and that's courageous. And I give myself a pat on the back for being brave and courageous and for being one of God's chosen.